Hi, today we will explain the storyline of the movie A Wife's Nightmare, which was released in 2014.
Really gonna go back to work so soon?
Okay, let's get straight to the story.
Do you understand?
Hey, stop.
Hey, Caitlin.
A young girl named Caitlin came to the home of the Michaels couple, Gabe and Liz. Here, Caitlin claims to have a blood relationship with Gabe, whom she suspects is her biological father. Although surprised, Gabe and Liz invited Caitlin in to talk further. Inside the house, Caitlin produced a will explaining that Gabe was Caitlin's biological father. Gabe admitted that he knew Caitlin's mother briefly before meeting Liz. Caitlin's own mother had died of breast cancer a few months ago. Now Caitlin has come to Gabe because she has nothing left. She intends to ask Gabe for help to stay temporarily. Gabe needed to talk to Liz first before accepting Caitlin, after which Gabe introduced Caitlin to AJ, his biological son. Gabe said that Caitlin was indirectly his older sister. However, AJ's response was not good at first, but gradually he accepted Caitlin and apologized for his previous response. Liz then gave Caitlin a room upstairs and provided her with what she needed. However, AJ seemed disappointed in his mother and avoided Caitlin every time she tried to talk to him. The next morning, Caitlin told Liz that she and Gabe were going to the hospital today to make sure that Gabe was indeed her biological father. While waiting for Gabe to come home to take AJ to school and Liz to go for a morning run, Caitlin wandered around the house. She found a guitar and magazines that showed that Gabe was a musician and guitar player. And she also found a bottle of psychotropic drugs in the bathroom labeled Liz. Meanwhile at school, AJ seemed to be paying attention to a school friend he liked, Jackie, but AJ didn't dare to talk to her first. That day, Liz also returned to work at her old office after a break, because her boss said he needed Liz's expertise back as one of his flagship architects. Liz had already decided that she was ready to work again. After all, her family needed more income because Gabe had no steady income. When she got home, Liz heard Caitlin singing to Gabe's guitar in the downstairs room. After that, Gabe and Liz talked about Caitlin. She suggested that Caitlin not live with them. At least, she only lived with them until the blood test results came out. Not long after, AJ came home from school and invited his school friend Sean to play video games together. But Sean left soon after, and Caitlin took over the game while chatting with AJ. Caitlin noticed that AJ was a bit surly towards Liz. She tried to find out why, but AJ didn't want to tell her. A few hours later, they had dinner with Liz and Gabe. Caitlin told them that she got a job at a music store. They were all happy to hear the good news and celebrated with a glass of white wine. However, while toasting, Gabe accidentally spilled wine on Caitlin's shirt. He reflexively helped Caitlin wipe her clothes. However, Liz felt something was wrong when she saw Gabe touching Caitlin's clothes. Moreover, the wine was spilled on her chest.
Actually got an open bottle of sparkling.
Liz's mood took a turn for the worse. She went to the bathroom to calm herself. That night, AJ and Caitlin went to the night market for a walk. AJ saw Jackie there. Caitlin realized that AJ liked Jackie and tried to help make Jackie jealous. Sure enough, Jackie glanced at AJ. Since then, AJ and Caitlin's relationship has grown closer. The next day, AJ visited the shop where Caitlin and Sean worked, then asked Caitlin out for a walk. In the park, he opened up about his changing relationship with Liz. AJ said that they used to be a happy family. His mother used to be very fun, but a few months ago, she suddenly changed. AJ thought something happened at Liz's workplace and made her mental health decline. The situation worsened after AJ yelled at Liz and vice versa. Liz said things that were unpleasant to hear. Her emotions also decreased at her workplace and got Liz almost fired. Caitlin was sad to hear AJ's story, but AJ said Caitlin's presence made him happier and he was grateful. Meanwhile, after work, Liz found Caitlin, AJ, and Gabe gathered in the backyard cooking burgers. She saw Gabe's affectionate gestures towards Caitlin and secretly felt jealous, but she held back her emotions and chose to continue her office work at home. Gabe realized something was wrong with Liz's attitude, and he tried to ask her what was wrong. Liz was frank that she felt uncomfortable seeing Gabe's attitude towards Caitlin, specifically the way Gabe touched Caitlin. Liz said that was how Gabe used to touch her. Gabe tried to convince Liz that he only wanted to show affection to Caitlin. Besides, if he really had something going on with Caitlin, he wouldn't be so bold as to show it openly in front of Liz. Liz accepted Gabe's explanation and laughed to herself, realizing her attitude. However, that night, Liz passed Caitlin on the stairs. Caitlin claimed she went to the kitchen for a drink, but she saw the computer in her office on. She felt something was wrong. Sure enough, the next day at the office, important documents on her laptop were deleted. Liz was upset and confronted Caitlin when she got home from work. At that very moment, Caitlin was cleaning the house, but she had no idea what Liz was accusing her of. Caitlin got upset and went to the backyard to confide in Gabe. Gabe then tried to ask Liz for an explanation, but instead they got into an argument. Gabe felt tired after trying to clean up the yard with AJ all day, but when Liz got home, she was looking for trouble. Even though she wanted them to improve their relationship, Gabe was worried that it might not be the right time for Liz to work again. Liz reminded him that they needed a steady income, and that she was the only hope while Gabe finished his new album. Long story short, Liz felt bad and made up with Gabe. Yesterday's incident also affected Caitlin's mind. At work, she looked depressed. She told Allison that she had something on her mind. Not long after, AJ arrived. He didn't expect Jackie to follow him. Caitlin took the initiative to get to know Jackie and invited her to chat with AJ. Because of Caitlin, Jackie is now interested in AJ. In fact, Jackie asked AJ to contact her sometime. However, AJ was so enthusiastic about getting Jackie's phone number that he accidentally kissed Caitlin, making them both awkward. On the other hand, Liz told her morning running friend Angie that she was annoyed with Caitlin, plus AJ seemed to be more intimate with her than her own mother. Angie advised Liz to be honest with AJ about her feelings so that Caitlin would no longer get in the way of their relationship. Liz tried to follow Angie's advice and asked AJ to talk to her slowly. Liz apologized for what she had said to him before. Angie's advice worked and they made up. The three of them then had dinner with Gabe without Caitlin. After work, Caitlin didn't say hello to them and went straight up to her room. Seeing Caitlin's attitude, AJ felt guilty about his mistake that afternoon, so he went to her room and apologized. However, Liz overheard their conversation and became angry again. She became even more disliked Caitlin and took out her frustration by exercising. Not long after, Caitlin approached Liz and asked if she had upset Liz. Overtly, Liz expressed her dislike for Caitlin, especially after hearing that she kissed AJ. Caitlin, of course, tried to defend herself because for her AJ was a younger brother, and it was impossible for her to be attracted to her own younger brother. Liz didn't listen to her reasons. She accused Caitlin of having ulterior motives for showing up in the middle of her family. Their dispute was heard by Gabe and AJ, who hurried over to the two of them. It turned out that Caitlin had a DNA test result letter and intended to show it to Liz, but Liz's attitude discouraged her. She then gave the letter to Gabe and ran to her room, and Gabe read out the DNA test results, which said that Caitlin was indeed his biological daughter. The next day, AJ helped Liz prepare for Gabe's birthday party. On the other hand, Gabe tried to persuade Caitlin to forgive Liz's attitude. Caitlin had a hard time understanding Liz's attitude yesterday. She thought maybe she should just leave Gabe's house, but Gabe asked her to stay with them. Gabe and Liz's family life gradually returned to normal, as did Liz's work, which showed progress. Here comes Gabe's birthday party. They celebrate in the backyard with neighbors and friends. Here, Liz tries to approach Caitlin to apologize for her attitude yesterday. She tells Caitlin that she was hospitalized because her mental health deteriorated. This also affected her relationship with Gabe and AJ, which is why she seemed unprepared for Caitlin's arrival. But now she has accepted Caitlin. Seeing them make up, Gabe was happy, then took Caitlin to meet the other guest, Sean's brother, Paul. Shortly thereafter, Gabe opened a gift in front of the guests and expressed his gratitude in person. However, Gabe's attention was diverted when he saw Paul approach and flirt with Caitlin, and he then forcefully expelled Paul. Liz thought Gabe's behavior was excessive. He did not show the attitude of a father who just wanted to protect his daughter, but a lover who seemed jealous. Gabe tried to make Liz understand that she misunderstood, and he was just not used to having a daughter. Liz still didn't believe him, then said that Caitlin herself was suspicious. She also told Gabe that Caitlin kissed AJ. Caitlin heard their argument from her room. She decided to pack her clothes and leave Gabe's house. She felt she had caused a commotion in the house, however. Gabe again persuaded Caitlin not to leave. He said he was proud to have Caitlin. Hearing this, Caitlin changed her mind. The next day, Gabe tried to apologize to AJ for humiliating him in front of his friends yesterday. He tried to explain that he felt guilty and would apologize to Paul. AJ forgave his father, but he was worried about his mother. He asked if he and Liz would split up, but Gabe admitted that he hadn't thought about it yet. AJ asked him not to leave Liz for fear that his mother's mental health would worsen again, while Gabe advised AJ to watch his attitude because the three of them would be living under the same roof. AJ thought, did that mean that his mother was going to leave? Gabe dodged the question and said he was just talking. Meanwhile, at Liz's workplace, she experienced technical difficulties during a presentation to an important client because suddenly the file on her laptop was corrupt and did not appear. Liz's boss suddenly scolded Liz after the failed presentation, which frustrated Liz, and she asked for a chance to correct her mistake. Liz then approached Caitlin at the music store and asked her to talk to her alone. Without further ado, Liz accused Caitlin of tampering with her laptop. Caitlin insisted that she had done nothing, but Liz's instincts did not believe her and called Caitlin a liar. After the incident, Liz asked Angie for advice, and Angie told her to collect evidence that showed that Caitlin did have a specific intention. She then went into Caitlin's room to look for something that could help her find out Caitlin's origins. She found a photo of Caitlin's childhood in her room and a letter from the hospital with the DNA results, and she took these two pieces of evidence to the clinic where the DNA test was done. On the other hand, Caitlin complained to Gabe that Liz had just attacked her. This time, Caitlin couldn't stand Liz's attitude anymore. Unexpectedly, Gabe persuaded Caitlin in an unnatural way. He kissed Caitlin passionately, witnessed by Allison herself. Not long after, Liz arrived at the DNA test laboratory clinic, which turned out to be a population data center. Thus, Liz realized that the DNA result was fake. She tried to call Gabe to warn him, but Gabe didn't pick up. The local employee claimed he couldn't show data belonging to people who lived outside their city. But after Liz tried to persuade him, the employee was willing to check. Unexpectedly, Caitlin's birth mother, Elaine Patterson, was not dead, but was in prison, and Liz was astonished to hear it. She immediately tried to call Gabe again but was unsuccessful, so she just left a message to warn Gabe that Caitlin was dangerous. Liz then drove to pick up AJ from school. At that time, he was talking to Sean. AJ didn't accept Sean saying AJ's father liked his own daughter. They had a fight, which eventually got AJ suspended. AJ then hurried home. However, when he was about to enter his room, he heard a noise from Caitlin's room. He was very surprised to catch Gabe and Caitlin sleeping together. Just then, Liz came home. AJ immediately hugged Liz and cried, telling her what he had seen. Gabe also came down and tried to explain to both of them. Since they had been caught red-handed, he and Caitlin could no longer cover up their lies. It turned out that they had been secretly dating since Liz had been in the hospital. They had planned a scenario so that they could live together. Liz felt very betrayed and never imagined that Gabe would have the nerve to do it. Moreover, all this time, it was Liz who supported their family finances. Disappointed, Liz smashed Gabe's guitar in the front yard. Gabe suddenly hit Liz. Seeing his mother being hit, AJ got angry and beat up Gabe. Liz then kicked Gabe out of the house. Meanwhile, Caitlin tried to apologize to Liz, but Liz was unwilling to give her a chance to speak. Caitlin felt embarrassed and left.